Hi everyone, my name is Anna and welcome to this first edition of the Waverly Real Estate Whiteboard. So if you're seeing this video, that means you either live in the Waverly or you're a property owner. And as such, you may have seen me around. I live in the Waverly also. I've been here now for almost 6 years. And many of you get my general newsletter where I have whiteboard videos on various aspects of the real estate market. Now I see many of you around, and then when you see my general videos, I get asked by people what my opinions are on the market at the Waverly and of Miami Beach as it pertains to the Waverly. So to that end, I've decided to make this video and also this section of my website where you can come back and check on transactions, what's for sale, what's rented, what's for rent. And this section is private to the Waverly, so it's not actually publicly linked to from anywhere. You have to bookmark it or follow it from my email. Okay, so let's get started. How's the market doing at the Waverly? So before we delve into specifics, I always say that you have to know where you are in the market cycle, because no matter what is happening in any particular condo building, that building lives within the context of the broader market, and the broader market is the biggest force in determining what value you can get for your property and how easily you can sell it. So to that end, let's take a look at Miami Beach's condo transaction volume. This is a chart here going back to 2006, and if you go to my website you can see it in further detail, but this blue line here is tracking overall transaction volume for all Miami Beach condos. What you can see here is that the peak was 2013 when it was just under 2,000, it was just under 3,000, sorry, 2,922 condos sold in Miami Beach. Since then we've been declining. In 2017 closed off with almost 40% fewer transactions than in 2013. Notable about this last bubble, we'll call it, is that it was fueled by cash. This is really important to understand. The previous bubble was fueled by liar loans and bad debt. This one was fueled by cash buyers. In this chart here, the green is cash volume, transaction volume of cash transactions, and the red is finance transactions. As you can see, the red has stayed pretty constant, but the green is what fueled it, and the green is what, and then the reduction of cash buyers is what has accounted for the loss of transaction volume. In fact, almost 92% of that transaction volume loss is due to the loss of the cash buyer. So, what does this mean for the Waverly? This means that the Waverly is living within a market that is experiencing significant reductions in transaction volume. To put it another way, 2017 closed off. Actually, I've updated this. Right now, there are 35 months approximately of condos between $500,000 and $1 million in Miami Beach. That is a lot. A healthy market is under 10. In fact, that level of that many months of inventory is actually far worse than it was during the previous crash, and it gets even worse if we look past $1 million and if we go to downtown or Brickell. And again, I did a whole report on this. So that is the context that we are in. We're in a market that is experiencing decreasing sales volume and unprecedented levels of inventory. So I know that there's drama in the building, in every building really. All buildings go through this, about renovation projects, all these things about everyone wants to make sure that they get the most for their property. But I will put this in perspective. I will say there is nothing a building can do to counteract the market. This is the simple reality. It's not going to change. We're in a market of decreasing interest, decreasing buyers, and this hasn't changed in the first or second quarter of this year. Okay, so let's take a look now specifically how the Waverly has been behaving, and I like to look at transaction volume because where volume goes, prices will follow. So this is going back to 2010 when there were 43 transactions at the Waverly. We then had about 33 at 2013, and then down to 17 last year in 2017. And of that 17, only 8 were 2-bedroom transactions, which was actually the worst year on record for 2-bedroom transactions. So from 2013 to 2017, the Waverly actually lost quite a bit, about 50% of its transaction volume, which is far worse than what Miami Beach did. Why that is, I don't know. We know that last year was the worst year for sales volume for 2 bedrooms in this building. probably because of the ongoing construction. I know it's very difficult to show properties when people walk in and there's a guy hanging out of the window. That's never a good sign. So luckily this year there has been a bit of an uptick in transactions. We're already up to 13, and we've already had 9, I think it is 9 2-bedrooms sold so far this year, which is more than sold all of last year. So that is good. The break from construction has certainly helped the building this year. And again, I will say that it was unfortunate that last year had all of this construction, because the market has only gotten worse in terms of transaction volume since then, and the building lost some valuable market time. But that's another story. Okay, so of the 9 2-bedrooms that have sold so far this year, the price range has been from $475,000 to $900,000. Now the one that sold at $900,000 is actually a good benchmark, because it last sold in November of 2016 at $980,000. So before we take away commissions and taxes, that person is down almost 10%, and they have to pay deed-transfer tax, all that stuff. So that sale is kind of a proxy for where we are in the market right now. We're well below 2014, which is not a bad thing to say, because this has all been this bubble in Miami Beach, and things don't stay at highs forever. I think it's often helpful to look at a trailing 10-year average of prices. People get price anchored to whatever the previous high was, but things never stay at that high forever. So okay, so what is the long-term outlook? What should one do? I always ask people what their time frame is. If you have a property that you love and when you want to hold it for 10-20 years, no problem, hold it, it's your home. If you have something that you would like to sell within the next 5 years, this year is better than next year and will be better than the year after. And why I'm saying that is because to take this perspective even past at a more macro level than Miami Beach, if we look at the nationwide market, we have a few things that should be a little bit alarming. The Case-Shiller index, half the cities in the index are at all-time highs for prices. We have the yield curve flattening. We have unemployment pretty much at historic lows. And when the yield curve inverts and when unemployment is at lows, those are indicators for an incoming recession. And the Shiller index being at all-time highs is also an indication that we're at the end of the cycle. So we're very, very late in the credit cycle. Our cash buyers are going away, and the percentage of people financing thus far has remained constant, but their interest rates are going up. So no one can time these things exactly, but this picture will not be getting prettier for the next 5 years at least. So if somebody wants to exit before then, they should do so now. If you want to hold longer, it's your home. That's a whole separate story. This is a great building and a great place to live. Okay. I hope this was informative. Check out my website. It's analytics.miami/Waverly is the directory that I made for the building, where you can go and see what's for sale, what's for rent. I update year-to-date average pricing, things like this. I hope it's helpful, and please reach out with any further questions. I'm happy to talk. Thank you.